Well, good morning. Still morning, just by about 15 minutes. Jafana and I have been finding other things to do to stay out of the way of the roofers. Now you can see they've got all their stuff set up here. They are actually on a lunch break. They just left to go get something to eat. But so far, we are loving what they've done. They went ahead and installed the soffit, wrapped the fascia, and there is a mechanically seamed steel roof. They've got the decks on both sides, looking good. Climb up here on the main deck, get a better look at it. So on this one, you can see where they've already run the seam on all of it. Nice metal roof. Should outlast me. I am tickled. I love it. I absolutely love it. That gray contrast with the white pops real nice. Jafana's enjoying her salad out in the field. But we've been finding other stuff to do. Yesterday we were working in the orchard. That about wore me out. And today I've done a few things here on this side of the house while they were doing that, but we're getting ready to go work on a shed. We're taking advantage of the opportunity of needing to be out of the way of the roofers, just because I know we can get up there and we can work, but if I'm not there in their way, they can work faster, and I want them to be able to get this done before bad weather hits us again, or they get pulled off this job to go somewhere else, or something happens. But this old shed right here, when we bought the property, this was a little 8x8. I guess it was a hunting shack. It was like a little tiny thing. That window right there was sitting in the back of it. It had never been installed. It was half rotten. I took what was left of the frame, tore out all of the plywood, and I expanded it out a little bit so that we would have a little storage shed, and we have actually used it for the last 5 years without a door. But this high dollar siding I've got right here, this Tyvek, has seen better days. The wind has torn it up pretty good. My wife is convinced that there was a bear up here one day that tore some of it up, but if I come up here behind it, you can see what we've done so far with this thing. Like I said, I went ahead and just kind of added on to it, put a roof on it. Boy, I tell you what, those little rafters I created have crowned something else. Good God. Well, it is just a little shed in the woods, so it's going to keep on doing for us. We're going to go ahead and do a little work on it today, replace some of this Tyvek, and put some siding on it. We got the crew back up here working on the house. One of the coolest things about this is that they make the pans on site.
You? Nah, I don't think so.
What's the length on those? 23?
No, a little over 30, I think.
Over 30?
Yeah.
Dang.
It was 385. 386. 386, so just over 30 foot.
Just over 30?
Yeah.
That is impressive. So every one of these panels is made on site, and you can see the bends in the end of it. So it puts these very precise bends in the end of it, and then they mechanically seal them together once they're up on the roof. And it starts off on a big roll of steel right here. That's the dove gray. That's the color that Jafana wanted. Pulls it through that machine and forms it. And it's got some little steel wheels inside there that put a bend on it and just keep turning and twisting it until it gets just right. Almost 32 feet. I forgot about that little overhang on the deck. That'll do it. It's kind of nice to just sit around and take pictures for a change. We've gone ahead and put some new Tyvek. Words are hard. We've gone ahead and put some new Tyvek up on the walls. In the front and on the side, the back seemed okay, so we're leaving what was there up. And we're getting ready to cut some T111 siding and start on the back. So this, the original structure, and I'll feed some pictures in so people can see what I'm talking about. The original structure can't be called much more than a shotgun shack. It was an 8x8 building that somebody had put together by hand. The front was an old set of sliding glass doors from somebody's porch patio, and it had the floor was rotting away. This big window was sitting inside of it, and I couldn't tell if it had one time been installed or if they had planned to install it. I don't know if they ever finished the shack and actually used it, but it looked like it was for hunting. I don't know if it was just to stay in or if they were actually going to sit in it and hunt out of it. But it was rotting away when we took possession of the property, and my daughter and I came up here one weekend and we basically built it into what it is right now over the course of that weekend and about 2 more weekends. I might be exaggerating, it might have been 4 or 5 weekends. We're trying to get the front of this thing done. Unfortunately, we found some mice earlier. That got a little reaction out of Japanna. Oddly enough, she just found some bats and that didn't get any reaction out of her.
I was looking for something.
The question is...
Well, if you
Oh yeah.
out, will they die?
Well, I don't think they'll die, but they don't like the sunlight. I ain't trying to screw with the bats, but I gotta get this thing built. This T111's been sitting in here for 4 years now. This project kind of got abandoned halfway through, so.
My concern for the bats is because I know how beneficial they are. The average bat in North America eats between 6,000 and 8,000 insects every night. Without them, just breathing normal air would be a chore. They love mosquitoes, and in Virginia in the summertime, that's a big plus. They were gently removed, placed in a safe spot, and when it started to get dark, they got up and flew away. While we were working on the shed, our roofing crew was busy getting the main deck covered. They didn't do the whole thing that day, but they made some pretty impressive progress.